got contacted a couple weeks ago about tuning an '04 four-wheeler, 1500 standard. I believe it's a standard cab, might be a quad cab, but it's definitely a four-wheeler. The guy's got a 6.1 long block in it with the adapters. He's still using the '04 style truck intake. Apparently he's got the 6.1 injectors in it. So we're going to start doing some tune work for it. I'll take some videos of it. So basically, this is the tune that he sent me, that he pulled off the truck from with HP Tuners. So I'm going to open up a compare file. So we come over here to my 0405 Rams. We got that one there, which is stock. And what he's running it on right now is, for the most part, I mean, it is stock. The startup injectors are different. And then the only other thing I found that was different was some of the torque adapts. And some of these are actually, you know, I've seen this increase here in a couple of 04s. So, you know, fairly stock truck running a 6.1. So the first thing I did, I switched over to the 6.1. Then I switched this over to 6.1. Sent him off that tune, and it wouldn't start. So I changed engine type back to 5.7. Sent the tune off route to him. So it should start with that. I did a pair of my 04s that I got here. Did a test tune on that by changing that over to a 6.1, and neither one of those would start. But my early production 04, which, I mean, it's an August built truck. It'll run when I switch this to 6.1, but the other two wouldn't run when I switched it to 6.1. Alright, so where do we start? So the first thing we do is we increase engine size to 6.1, and we leave the type alone. As I explained earlier, it didn't really do anything for us. Come over here to idle. Let's get into general. I upped the VSS to 5 miles an hour. I do that on all my tunes. I found that it helps with coming to a complete stop. Especially if you're doing it quickly. So for this first tune, we left RPM. Idle airflow, we left all that alone. We come into airflow, left that alone. Speed density, left that alone. General. In general, what I do is barometric learning. I disable it. I think it just works out better. Especially if you're doing a boosted vehicle, you have to. It just turns into a mess. All right, so let's go into our fuel. Fuel general, left it alone. Oxygen, sensors. Here again, up the VSS to 5 miles an hour. They don't have to match, but I just think they should match. So, all right, so fuel, power, enrich. RPM, delay. Set that down to 0. Fuel increasement, I always set these to 0.5. Brings the fuel enrichment on quicker, takes it out quicker. Temp, left it alone. Cut off, left it alone. Spark, I didn't touch anything in any of the spark. I just wanted to see how the truck was going to react with enlarging the engine size and disabling the barometric learning. All right, so that's where I started. All right, so we sent the tune off, and then he did a log, and here's what that log looked like when we go over it. So here is the base VE, and here's total VE. Now, if you notice, the base VE A lot of the values are higher than total. So this math parameter that I do, which is total VE minus base VE, so that's where it's at. So these are all really shitty numbers. The thing is running, it's running way lean. So we come over here and we see our B, our averages for our base, and then our averages for our total. These numbers should not be lower than these. All right, so what we wound up doing, keep saying we, and really isn't a we. But anyway, what I wound up doing was, first step I did was the VE engine coolant multi. I matched these to 6.1 values over top of what they were originally. So this is what they were originally. Actually, here, let me go back to that. That's what it was originally. And then they're the values I turned it into. And then the other thing we did was on fuel, general. These are all these are tuned, this is all tune 2, and these are all 5.7 parameters. So what I had done was I converted it all over for the third tune, gave it all 6.1 parameters. So then sent the tune off. Like I said, that was the first one. So this is tune. That's the first one. Let's get this straight. And then this is the third one. The numbers are, the VE was better. So that's where we went. Numbers are slightly closer. We can do short-term fuel. It was pulling and it was adding less fuel for short-term. Let's come over here. And come back. So this is where we came from with short-term. It was moving less around. So that was the third one. And then we'll show you what we're going to do. All right, so after all that, what I wound up doing was I sent him off a copy of the exact copy of a tune I have, which is a 362 stroker motor, basically a 5.7 with a 6.4 crank in it, the 3.72 crank with 630 rods. So what I did was I gave him I made an exact copy of that tune, sent him off to see how the truck would run. Kind of figured it would run a lot better than what it did. And it's a wholesale change. Like the idle RPMs increased to 720 from 624. Then the airflow, VE bank, I worked it around a little bit. That's the VE bank that I use with this 362. This is the VE bank that we wound up having on that third tune. Electronic throttle. I lowered. You can see what the values are. I lowered everything. That's what he was running with. Matched the small range. And then left the injectors alone. Left them with the 6.1 injectors, which is what I got on that 362. Power and rich. It's a little different. We're going to work on that. Now for spark, completely different animal. what I wound up doing was I converted, this is the stock 5.7 RPM scale. This is an RPM scale that I use this one a lot, 608 to 616. It's all 24s, a lot of 24s. It's capped up in here. We're going to work on that for the next tune. One of the things I do with the knock sensors is that stock, and that's what I wind up doing. I just change this RPM scale so it's more in tune with actual driving habits. Alrighty, so what did that give us? So this here was that third tune. And then this is what the truck ran like with my 362 tune. You notice there's a lot more zeros there. Come over in here. Our bass is fundamentally lower. So now it wants to run richer. I mean, you can tell by the short term that it's adding a lot of fuel. Come over here to this short term here. You can see lots of red, lots of 24, a couple 28. So, I mean, the fueling is off. I mean, that's the only way I can put it. Now, the VE is better in some of the drive area, but obviously you can see in the idle area, off throttle, low throttle, it's still off. So we're going to work on that, and that's what we're going to do next.